Done another Top Gun,
I'm
haven't
not into all that car stuff.
they? Yeah. Fast and Furious 9.
No, I'm not into none of that.
They've done another one of them. You got the wrestler John Sheridan. He plays Van Diesel's brother in it this time, and he's after kill him. You got him, Stratham, Charlie
Who's in there
Theron.
now?
Oh no, in about a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Got Bond. Got the new Bond film coming out in October the 3rd.
Okay.
No Time to Die. It wraps them all up, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I've seen that advertised.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, got another
When's
Bond
that
film
out?
coming.
Another, what, next month is it?
It comes out October the 3rd.
That's this year, yeah. so
Yeah.
2 months' time.
It should have been out in March, but because you had this virus, they didn't put it out.
Oh shit, yeah.
So it gives them time to do a bit of reshooting.
Splendid.
Because in this one, he's supposed to cop it, but he don't, because you know Bond is going to come back as somebody else. So they can't kill him off, see? Because what they wanted to do, they wanted to kill Daniel Craig off.
Did they?
Yeah. That was the idea. Michael J. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, who make the Bond films, the idea was the last 15 minutes you see James Bond get killed. But what they've done, they've reshot that so he doesn't die. Because if he dies, he can't. Nobody else can come back, can they? So he comes back as somebody else. A bit like Doctor Who a little bit.
Comes back as a saint.
Yeah, yeah, Roger Moore. So a lot of people thought we're going to go to his pictures to see him being killed, but he's not going to be killed.
Mr. Rat.
Yeah. You got the same team, like you got Ralph Fiennes as him. You got Naomi Scott. She plays Mrs. Moneypenny. You got all them in it. They're still in it, but you got the bloke. If you've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, Randy Manick, he plays the villain this time because you got like a Phantom of the Opera mask on
The
him.
rat's looking for food, like.
Yeah. You got Blofeld as well. The bloke who's in the last one, Christopher Walter, he's in it. I think what he does, he ties them all up. It's about 160 minutes long. It's the longest one.
What?
What do you mean he ties them all up?
No, it because if you've seen them all, they all link together to Bond dying. Because the
Right.
idea of the film is no time to die. That means he's going to die. But they've had to, as I said, they've had to reshoot the last 15 minutes. I don't want to spoil it for you because you go and see it.
Who wrote the original?
No, it's a brand new picture.
Yeah, but who wrote the original Bonds?
It was Broccoli and it was Ian Fleming.
That's
So
it.
Ian Fleming, yeah, he wrote them all.
Doctor No?
That was Fleming. He wrote them all right up.
Which one was the first one?
Doctor No.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, with Sean Connery. But then as it went along, don't forget there was more money went into it. Because when they made Doctor No, then Russia with Love, by the time it got to Thunderball, it was
Looked at the cinema, didn't
they were raking it in, Saltzman and Broccoli. But then what happened in 1970 when Sean Connery decided to finish and quit, Albert R. Broccoli bought out the other bloke because he went bankrupt. So he said to Harry Saltzman, because Harry Saltzman wanted to get out, but he had no money, so because he went bankrupt because he'd done a lot of bad deals. So what Albert Broccoli done is he bought him out. So that meant all the Bond films with Roger Moore were Albert R. Broccoli, wasn't Saltzman anymore, because he was bankrupt. Harry Saltzman went bankrupt because he gambled too much.
Blimey.
Yeah, so he bowed him.
What, real life?
No, they're both gone now.
No, they've seen the guy, they said he gambled.
He gambled everything. Every film he made, he gambled all the profits.
Well, in the casino,
Yeah,
in real life.
in real life, yeah. So Albert R. Broccoli at the time had to bail him out.
Crazy.
But when Broccoli died, it was
not?
his daughter and his stepson who took over the franchise. Because Michael J. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, they're the two that took over the franchise. Because when Roger finished and Timothy Dalton took over, it was Michael J. Wilson that went to Barbara and said, look, we want a new Bond. Who do you fancy? So they looked down the list. Burt Reynolds, Sam Neill, but it was Timothy Dalton who got the part. But when Timothy Dalton got the part, his idea was, I'm only going to make 2 Bond films. But the problem is, when he made the last one, which was License to Kill, they wanted him to do another one, but he didn't want to do no more. So that meant they had to break the contract. It's like a footballer, you had to pay the contract to get him out of the contract. So from when he finished it in 1999, 2005 is when it came back again, but then Pierce Brosnan took over. And he made it successful. He claimed he made it successful, but he wasn't as successful as he thought, because when he done GoldenEye, then it was then he did Tomorrow Never Dies, then The World Is Not Enough, and of course Die Another Day was the last one he done. But the problem is, when he filmed The World Is Not Enough, as soon as he finished The World Is Not Enough, they went straight back in the studio to film the next one. It was like back to back. So when he finished Die Another Day, that was it. They thought, that's it, Bond's not coming back no more. And then, of course, I think it was 2006 is when Daniel Craig took over. And when Daniel Craig took over, it was a blonde Bond, because he was blonde. And the person, they thought, oh no, we don't want him. He's not likeable. But the idea is with Casino Royale, because Casino Royale is the first book, isn't it? What they done with him, they stripped it back and took it right back to the beginning. So then you found out how Bond became Bond. It's because he had a lady that he fell in love with and she betrayed him. And that's how he got his license to kill. By stripping it back and going right back to the beginning. Very clever how they do it with Daniel Craig. But with Daniel Craig, when you see, I don't know if you've ever seen him, Bill, but when you see the fight scenes, Daniel Craig really goes for it. Can you understand me? When you see him doing this and he's punching him here and he's punching him there, he's doing his own stunts. And a lot of the producers didn't like him doing his own stunts.
Why?
Because if he got badly injured, he's going to sue the studio, isn't he? Because you had a stuntman that done Rogers,
Signed the
Sean
contract.
and all them, see? But he signed the contract, but in the contract he said, oh, if you're going to do stunts, you've got to have a stuntman, but he wouldn't do it. Go back to the first film of Casino Royale when I don't know if you've seen the bit when he runs across that.
No, I ain't seen it.
That it's a crane. He's chasing after a bloke on the crane, and you see him leap onto the crane. That is him doing it. But the problem is, the producers at the time, which were Michael J. Wilson and Broccoli, Barbara Broccoli, the daughter, didn't want him to do that. But his idea was, when I do Bond, I want to do all the stunts. I don't want a stuntman doing it. If Tom Cruise,
Pay them, innit?
Yeah.
Pay them something to do it.
if the Tom Cruise does it, he don't have his own stuntman. He does them all.
Right. Yeah, he did do it, didn't he?
Yeah. But as I said, when the last one came out, it's what you call. Don't forget, he's been paid a nice little bounce to do
yeah,
this
of
one.
course.
Christ, he was after the fourth one. He thought when you see him drive away in Spectre, when he just drives away, that's it, curtain closed. But then what happened? Sam Mendes, who Sam Mendes, who done Revelation Road and all the others. Sam Mendes wasn't going to direct it. It was going to be Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle done 28 Days Later and all them. But because of all the contracts and Danny Boyle wasn't happy on the way Bond was going to go, Danny Boyle turned around and said, no, thank you, I don't want nothing to do it. So that meant those two had to pay him out again. Because don't forget, it's all paying out because you want to get the best directors for the Bond. So what happened, they went back to Sam Mendes again and they said to Sam, will you do it? And Sam went, I don't know, I'm not. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. And the problem is, what he's done, he's tweeted it, but the only bit he's took out is a bit at the end when Bond's supposed to die. Because when Danny Boyle was going to direct it, the idea was Bond dies. That's it. Why Bond out? He dies in the car blows up, and that's it. Bond's gone, dead. But what happened when the other director took over? The idea is what they've done. They've rewritten the last 15 minutes so Bond doesn't die.
Twist.
Clever. So that means when the next Bond takes over, which I hope will be a coloured actor, you can start it fresh again. But the problem is with these films, they are not books anymore because you've run out of books, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're going back to the drawing board and you're starting writing it from fresh. But the point is, when I go and see when I go and see a Bond film, I'm a person that sits there and I take a little bit out of it to see what they've done. But the problem is with this is, I'm not being funny. In this one, when you see the preview, once again he's doing his own stunts, and you've got a coloured girl in it this time. But the problem is the coloured woman in it.
Is he 002?
Yeah, she can fight as him can.
00.
Yeah. But what they're trying to do now, they're trying to do it a bit PC. There's no sex in it. Can you understand me? Because Bond, he always used to seduce a woman to take her to bed, and she had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
With Daniel Craig, now what they've done, they've took the sex out of it. Just made it like a spy film with all the gadgets in the car.
Yeah.
I'm spoiling it for you.
Change it around a bit. Change it around a bit. 'Cause
Shake it up a bit.
Yeah, but people are going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He starts kissing her, the light goes off, next minute there's another scene.
Yeah, no, what he's done with that, they took what Daniel Craig's done, they took what those two have done now, because you're into the 20th century and you're worried about the AIDS and all that. What they've done is they took all the sex scenes out of it.
Yeah.
You still see him kiss her and cuddle her, but there's you don't see it anyway in the Bond film. You don't see him do anything anyway. But the idea is the woman in it, she's like when you see her, I mean, she's beautiful. She's like a coloured actress, beautiful actress. She's beautiful, yeah. But she fights as Bond does. But the idea is this time, what they're going to...
Women's equal opportunities.
Yeah. But what it is this time is to tie... What it is, I said, I'm not being funny, you've got to go back to the first one to watch them all, because I think it's a bit, as I said to you before, it's a bit like Lord of the Rings. You've got to watch them all because it's like a story that will come to an end. Because all the people have killed is killed Spectre. Do you remember Spectre when Sean Connery used to fight Spectre and Blofeld with the funny eye? In this one, Christopher Waltz plays Spectre with the eye. Because what happens I'm going back to... I think it's back to Skyfall. What he does, he captures him and the girl because he kills Mr. Green. Because Mr. Green is all part of Spectre. And what happens, poor old Blofeld, he gets Bond, and what he does, he ties him up in a chair, and he gets like a special device that can drill in the back of your head. Right?
Yeah.
One false move, mate, and you're paralysed.
Yeah.
So what he does, he's got the special watch, and you see him play with the watch. So what he does, by touching his tongue on the watch, he takes the watch off with his tongue, very clever, throws the watch off, does it like a waltzing Matilda, and you see the watch blow up. So as it blows up, it does Blofeld. So the next scene, a couple of minutes later, you see Blofeld back in London and all his eyes been blinded, because that's how they did it, didn't they? Remember, because he's got like a foam over his eye. So of course he's in the helicopter flying across London because he wants to blow up Tower Bridge.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, why wouldn't blow up Tower Bridge? Not London Bridge, not Tower Bridge. And that's how it ended, because Blofeld is not dead. Because don't forget, all these villains want to kill James Bond. Yeah, Blofeld wants to kill James Bond. But in this one, you've got, as I said before, you've got Rami Malek, who we know from play Freddie Mercury in the Freddie Mercury story. When you see him, he's got like a Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah.
Because under that mask, all his face has all been burnt. And of course, he wants
What, in
Bond.
real?
No, in the part.
Oh, right.
Because they reckon he steals the show.
Yeah.
He does, he steals the show. Forget about Daniel Craig. They reckon he is a total, utter fruitcake. He's a loony, just wants to kill everybody. He walks about, he's got I mean, when I see the preview and you see the gun, it's a small gun about that big, and what he does, he puts it in his pocket and he takes it out and he pretends, because what he does, he goes, I'm going to shoot you. And the next minute you see, you know, like the cartoon when they go bang,
Yeah.
it's not really that, because when he shoots you, the bang, straight in your head and you're dead. It's world domination. What they want to do is take over the world. That's what he wants to do, Bond.
Moonraker.
Yeah, Moonraker with that one.
Diane Abbott.
Diane Abbott?
Was she in Bond?
No.
Have you got a new car yet?
Who was Diane Abbott in?
She's the Labour leader.
Aston Martin, ain't
She's the deputy of Labour. yeah. She's under Jeremy Corbyn. She was the Home Secretary with Jeremy Corbyn.
I'm thinking about someone else.
yeah.
Diane something.
I'm trying to think, because who's in it? You had Maud Adams, you had Brick Ackland, you had Hugh Anzus, you had Brick Ackland, Maud Adams, you had Claudia Bouquet, she was in For Your Eyes Only. Grace Jones, she was in one of the Bond films.
That's right.
Yeah, Marlene Desplat, she was in Bond. Carrie Lava, she's married to Richard Gere, she was in a Bond film. Because Honor Blackman, she was in a Bond film. Dinah Rigg, she was in it. Dinah Rigg.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Dinah
Diana
Rigg.
Rigg.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how I come
Yeah,
up with.
she never got on with George Lazenby, Dinah Rigg. They couldn't stand each other. Because if you've seen, I don't know if you've ever seen Her Majesty's Secret Service, the bit when he rescues her from the sea, and he has the famous line, "It's never happened to the other guy," because he rescued her from the sea because she's going to go and drown herself. And of course, he drives along smoking his famous cigarettes, and he pulls up and he chases her into the sea. He rescues her in the sea. The next minute, there's a couple of blokes saying, "Where these come from?" And they start fighting George Lazenby with a couple of, I'm not being funny, they got a couple of rods. And I think to yourself, if they hit you, you would feel that.
Yeah.
But what they done with Lazenby, they Peter Hunt, who directed it, he sped it up so he looked faster. So, but when he did them both and slung them in that, what he done, he slung him in the boat, and you saw the boat tip over, so they both fell in the boat. And then you see, then she runs away, jumps in his car and drives his car away. And as George Lazenby's walking up, he says to the camera, "It never happened to the other guy," because he's more like saying it never happened to Sean Connery. Of course, I always think Her Majesty's Secret Service is really one of the best, because in this one you see Bond as Bond was supposed to be Bond, because don't forget he don't like working for the government anyway, so he becomes an assassin for the government, doesn't he? Because they say, he walks up to him and he says to him, "I don't want you chasing Blofeld anymore," which is played by Telly Savalas. And he says, "I'm going to do what I like." So he says to Bernard Lee, who's M at the time, he turns around to Bernard Lee and says to Bernard Lee, "I'm going to quit." So Bernard Lee says, "All right, do what you like, here's my resignation." But of course, you know as well as I do, you can't get rid of him that easy.
No.
So what he says, "I'll give you 2 weeks leave." So what he does, he goes to, where'd he go? Jamaica? No, not Jamaica, I'm trying to think where he went. He went somewhere, and when he went, he met Tracy again, because Tracy, played by Dinah Rigg, her father is like he's like a mafia bloke. So he really wants George Lazenby, James Bond, to protect her. But being Tracy, she don't want no men protecting her, because all men are after one thing.
Yeah.
They're after a slap and a tigger, aren't they? But they want everything. So what he has to do, he has to bodyguard her everywhere. She don't like it because she can't stand. She don't want nothing to do with him. He's a fucking pain in the arse. But then you've got one bit in the, I think it's one bit in the, once again, you've got to watch the film. One bit with the skis, because there's a toboggan race. They filmed that in, I think they filmed that in Iceland, because they had trouble trying to do the shot. But if you see the film, you've got Telly Savalas in one toboggan, and you've got George Lazenby in the other. Now, as the thing is going along, you can just imagine how fast this thing is going, can't you? And they've got the brakes, but the only problem is if you watch the film, and you've got to watch the film really closely, as George Lazenby's going round the Shincade,
On the trees.
right, the ropes the string ropes he's pulling, they break. So that meant, once again, there's no stuntman. So George Lazenby's doing the stunts himself. So you see the thing, because don't forget the thing's getting faster and faster and faster. So in the end, I'm not being funny, I look at it and I laugh, because what happens, one of the crooks jumps in the thing with him and he uses the bloke's head to slow it down. So you can see his head go boom, 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 like that. You've got to watch that film, because I think it's one of the best. The Majesty
When's that
6.
coming out?
No, it's already out on DVD. You've got to go and get it on DVD,
Oh.
Majesty, because I think that was one of the best.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger was good.
Goldfinger.
Who was
Oliver Blackman and Sean Connery.
She got painted.
Yeah, that was Shirley Eaton.
He's so strong, man.
Huh?
Could have died.
Yeah, because that was real paint. Because when I remember reading the bit of it, see, oh, it was real paint. Because she was under 5 hours of hot lights,
Honey's well sweet, isn't it?
and all she had was a light. She had one of those things in her mouth to make her breathe.
But
But after 5 hours, they had to get her into the shower and wash it all off. Because Objob, you know Objob, the bloke who used the famous hat, him the bloke who played, I'm trying to think, Goldfinger, he couldn't speak English. So when they done the bomb film, they had to have an interpreter to do his part, because he didn't speak English, the bloke who played Goldfinger. And that car, you know that car that was made out of gold, that was a real car.
Yeah.
You will find that at Bewley. If you go to Bewley, you will find that car there.
Blimey.
Buy that
Yeah.
film here.
Hey, you can buy them all.
What, Master Secret
Oh,
Service?
Yeah,
Box
all
set.
of them.
Box
Yeah,
set.
box set.
Yeah, I might get that.
Yeah, buy them. They
I'll
are
go
brilliant.
To, what do they call that record shop in the precinct?
HMV.
Yeah, I'll go in
You
there.
can get them all in there.
Yeah.
I love them. I do like a good Bond film because they were good. But then don't forget, as the Bond films went on, there was more and more money being put into it. By the time they made Thunderball, as I said, Stoltzman and Broccoli could go to UA and say, this is what we want, and they would say, all right, no problem, we'll back you. But the problem is, none of them are not being funded. The only one that was a bit, not really a flop, was The Man with the Golden Gun, because Christopher Lee, who played Scaramanga, he had the extra nipple. Christopher Lee was related to Ian Fleming. He was his cousin. But Ian Fleming was alive when they did make The Man with the Golden Gun. And Ian Fleming turned round to Broccoli and Saltzman. That was Saltzman's last film. He turned round to him and he said, I would like my cousin, my niece and my uncle to be in it. And they went, who's your uncle? Christopher Lee. Everybody knew Christopher Lee from the Dracula pictures. And of course, when they stuck Christopher Lee, because you know how tall Christopher Lee is, and you got Sean Connery, you got Roger Moore, what they thought, it was ridiculous. And you had the little fella, Nick Nack. He was sex mad, he was. He was brilliant. Because they played well off together. Both of them played well off together.
It was a big guy with the metal teeth.
That was Jaws, Richard Curl. He was in two of them. But he died, Richard. He was a lovely bloke. I met him once at the O2 when they done the exhibition. He was there, a lovely man.
Was he?
Yeah,
Big guy.
yeah. But he was typecast because he was in Pale Rider, but that's all he was well known for Bond.
I'll be back.
Okay. So if you have a chance, try and get him.